Hi, lovely people. Welcome to today's episode. Today, we are looking at a very sensitive topic. We are looking at a very sensitive topic, and I know most women are victims of it, but we have to still discuss it. Not to remind you of your pain and other things you've been through, but it's something worth discussing. Today, we are looking at abortion. So, let's get to it. Understanding abortion. What is abortion? Abortion is basically the process of ending a pregnancy before term. What I mean by before term is before the due time of delivery. Yes, so it's the process of ending a pregnancy before due time. Normally, pregnancy should take 9 months, but people, and due to certain circumstances, people end pregnancies before 9 months, and that's abortion, right? So there are types of abortion, and there are different ways through which people do this. While others, have it occur naturally. That's naturally, when it occurs naturally, it's known as a miscarriage. So some people have these problems naturally, and others also induce it. So in this discussion, we are focusing on induced labor. Yes. So the induced abortion, we have the medical, which they take pills and other things to do them, and then we have the surgical, which it's a minor surgical procedure which they use surgery to end the pregnancy. This is a very debatable topic. It sparks a lot of debate, and it's a sensitive one as well. So let's get to some of the risks of abortion. First, we are looking at physical risk. Abortion, like any medical procedure, comes with physical health risk. These risks depend on how the abortion is done, right? So where it depends on how the abortion is done, where it is done, and who does it. So with the physical, let's come down to some of the risks under the physical. You are looking at let's then look at unsafe abortion and its dangers. Sorry. One of the biggest risks from abortion is unsafe abortions. And these abortions are done with mostly concoctions and herbal mixtures. They are also conducted by inserting certain substances into the womb and then visiting unqualified practitioners. The methods, these methods can lead to very, very dire consequences, including serious infections, heavy bleeding, and even death. Right. So the World Health Organization classifies abortion as a leading cause of maternal death. So guys, it's a serious problem that needs to be handled with care. Now, aside what I've mentioned earlier, we also have excessive bleeding. Whether the abortion is done in the hospital or outside, one major risk is heavy bleeding. If too much blood is lost, it can cause weakness, fainting, or even a threatening condition. Some women may even need an emergency blood transfusion due to this. Another thing is also, abortion. With abortion is infections. If the procedure is not properly done, it can lead to so many infections. And even if it's properly done, poor hygiene can cause serious infections. And signs of these infections are fever, severe pain in the lower abdomen, and the foul smelling vaginal discharge. If the infection is left untreated, it could spread to other parts of the body. An infection spreading to other parts of the body is known as sepsis, and this is deadly. And another risk is damage to the uterus and other organs. In surgical procedures, there's a small risk that the doctor could accidentally, make. That is, he could accidentally tear the uterus. And this tearing the uterus leads to other complications. It can also cause future problems in having um, another pregnancy, or it can cause negative effects during childbirth later in life. That is when there's a tear in the uterus. Abortion can also cause problems in future pregnancies, as I've already stated. And now let's look at emotional and psychological risk. One, we are looking at guilt and regret. Most people who undergo this procedure mostly regret and they feel guilty. This affects their lifestyle, their way of thinking, and I mean, it can take a huge toll on their lives. Then we look at post abortion syndrome. This is not popular, but it exists. Um, Researchers and experts talk about post abortion syndrome. It's a condition where women struggle emotionally after an abortion. They, they, they feel, I don't know how to put this, but they just regret the situation so much that it becomes very difficult to let go and move on. So that's also a problem that needs to be tackled. And we also look at relationship problems due to how the woman could be affected by this procedure. Sometimes it brings about isolation, um, I mean, isolation and other things, and this could lead to breakup in relationships as well. And now we look at some social and cultural risk. Abortion is a controversial issue, which we must all admit. And in many societies, it carries a social stigma. So people actually feel very shy and they have that notion of being judged when they come out to even accept they've undergone such a process. So people hide these things. But the best way to come out of these problems and these emotional traumas is, I mean, speaking up. But it becomes very, very difficult to come come out with due to certain situations like family rejection, rejection by partners, and religious and then cultural shaming. Now let's look at some legal risk of abortion. In some countries and other places, it is highly restricted, and women who undergo this procedure risk having situations like arrest and other legal consequences. Unsafe procedures due to lack of access to medical care can also come out of this. And now let's look at alternatives to abortion. For those who are considering abortion due to unplanned pregnancy, it is important to explore alternative options such as keeping the baby and seeking support from family, friends, or organizations that help with pregnancy. Adoption. You might not want the child, but a couple somewhere might want the child. So you can freely give them the child if you don't want, rather than going through this pain and other effects of it. And then counseling. You need to talk to a professional before taking any action regarding an abortion. It's also crucial to focus on preventing unwanted pregnancies rather than getting pregnant and then going through this procedure, which has so many effects. Now, let's look at your final thoughts. Abortion is a complex issue with serious risk, both physical and emotional. While some people see it as a solution to an unwanted pregnancy, it's also important to be fully aware of the challenges and the side effects that come with it. The best you can do is to consult, open up, and find better alternatives to abortion. Thanks for being with us. If you haven't subscribed, kindly do like our videos and share with others. Thanks once again.